Hello and welcome to another gameplay review on the Virkayu gameplay channel. And in this one we are doing HECARIM Jungle. And you know what? I went through all the replays and I was like, which build do we want to focus on? And then of course you go through 13,000 pages and have 13,000 builds. However, you know, if you look at the win rate data, you'd say, okay, look, this guy needs buffs. This guy is not performing well. The champion is weak. Although it's not always true and not necessarily true at all in the moment. As we start Raptors, there was a Fiesta level 1. Nobody died, so we don't really care. We're going to go red Raptors in this particular regard. We're using the phase rush. And I'm going to show you a different angle. Because always I talk about the sustain builds. The builds that allow you to carry, you know, with damage. And the one that is rushed the most at the moment is Spear of Shojin. I actually got tongue twisted trying to say that, so I had to stop and start again. You know, just run away. And in that regard, that's definitely the best way to kind of play it. And people are saying, okay, look, this feels really good. You know, having more rotations of my rotations in this queue, that's obviously what we want. And obviously the AD build allows you to get even more benefits. However, there is still a lot of win rate data that suggests, listen, you know, they buffed the hell out of the ratios, just become an assassin. Just become the champion that runs over the entire map. Now, this play in particular is interesting because he doesn't have the Mana Moon in the build very frequently, at least in the two games I looked at here. We have this one with the lethality focus, and we have the other one with the Spear of Shojin focus. Whereby neither games he goes Mana Moon at all. So he's obviously going to be draining his mana, be mana hungry. That's an interesting perspective to look at as well. I do recommend most of you, especially newer HECARIM mains, people who are still kind of getting used to the champion, do that. Because not having mana means you can't test the champion. Because, you know, you want to first be able to understand what the champion does, where the limitations lie, and you can say, well, shouldn't you go manaless first to figure that out? Yeah. But then also at the same time, you're not really going to learn what the champion can do when he has mana. So that when you don't have mana, you know how much is in the tank, right? So it's a little bit of reverse logic, but I like this. A level 1 dicey thing happened here. You know, nothing interesting at all worth showing you on film. So it goes Raptor solo, red, blue side, 5 camp ganks the mid lane. Immobile mage, gank it. And I love that. And I coached him the other day with a Kane as well. Cut his full clear into a 5 camp just to get the gank going. We don't have prior bot lane because it's Morgana Caitlyn. Now, why the Morgana is deciding to go straight up for a fight into the river with a HECARIM here is beyond me. We also have a Silas showcasing himself with the 20 CS here. He does get the crab to give him that. So that's a 4 camp Silas into the river here, fighting a HECARIM who just defeats both of them. Straight up defeats both of them. This is why you kind of look at this champion and you go, whoa, should I farm? Should I chill, AFK, scale? You know, do things as I've always done? Could you? Yes. But the problem is most people keep doing that, building Divine Sundra, going Conqueror, and that's why the win rate is so bad. Whereas if you just built the thing properly, typically Moss Stomp is goated, but obviously Gus Walker makes a lot of sense on the champion. And then you go damage and you use your positioning intelligence. And look at this. This is something that I do not see enough of when you're playing low elo HECARIM. If you are beneath Master, why aren't you doing this every game? If you can full clear and get a scuttle, great, right? But can we fight people in the river 1v1, particularly Silas's, who are going to come out weak? Right? Half HP. Yes, we can fight them. W is insane. E allows us to rotate to these things quickly and have a lot of CC pre-sigs. So a HECARIM main who I see be proactive on the map are the best ones. And those are the ones that are interesting. That's why I love Lemon so much. Lemon is undoubtedly the rank 1 HECARIM in the world because of the fact that he's been challenging with this champion one-tricking him, peaking rank 10 every season on the Korean Sub. Not just getting challenged, peaking rank 10 since season 7, right? Or season 6 even. Even when the champion was giga garbage, no one even knew what this thing was. He was challenger with HECARIM, and he always does actually more conservative builds, you know, and he makes them work because high-elo things. But if you're looking to smurf and be everywhere and be the damage and be the carry, HECARIM's your guy. Now, in terms of the build paths, obviously, we are going Ionian Boots of Lucidity. Yes. Normally we'd have a tier here, and then he's going to do the full lethality rush. Now, there is a downside to this, obviously. As you go past 20 minutes, 25, 30, and teams start to bundle up with their Amumu's and their scaling and their tankiness and their CC, yes, you just get blown up and you die. That's the downside. So if you're playing like an assassin and you just keep running away with the game in the literal sense, you're going to have a lot of fun. And obviously using face rush procs appropriately. Now, the Spear of Shojin build, you know, where you have maybe Black Clavers and I guess you can run Eclipse. I don't really liking the Eclipse at all in win rate data, and also nerfing that. So I think for that kind of build, we need to think deeply about the changes coming to fighter itemization next patch. That's going to be interesting. But look at this. Hey, I'm HECARIM. Hey, there's a guy who I killed level 3 and he has no flash. I will just keep ganking him over and over again. Pick a lane, pick a target, pick a victim, and make him thus. Because if you don't, you're gonna watch enemy champions like Silas's try and run away with the game. You're gonna watch other farming junglers, right, who maybe have a bit better fisting capability, like they can gank a bit better, and they can get those laners ahead, get ahead of you on tempo. But sure, you can lap and farm, like no stress, but I would prefer seeing a more active HECARIM style, and Lemon does that, and always has done that, and always does weird things. Sometimes his pathing looks a little random, but he just sees things a little bit further ahead than most. Now, the blue buff is spawning. We know Silas started on the top side, he's going down to the bottom side. So we basically say, hey, look, I'm Sigs. He isn't. He's 0-1-0, 36 CS, and I'm 43 CS. Now you might say, well, shouldn't HECARIM have 44 at this point? Well, yes, but we also are 3-0-2. And in terms of Umbral Glade rushes, we also see him down here, Umbral Glade rushes, that still has actually a surprisingly good win rate, because that item is strong, right? In terms of item rushes, it's one of those, because HECARIM has a list like this of items you can rush based upon your personal preference. But Umbral Glaive, in terms of vision control, specifically against things like Nidleys as well, super good, you know, does well. And obviously there are downsides to actually playing full squishy, and we're going to see them, hopefully at least, or hopefully not, because I kind of want to show you a good example. I always show HECARIMs and try and account for every build in my explanations, but it's just not possible in one video. You know, if you went this, you would do this. If you went this, you would do this. Yes, of course, but do you guys want to carry or do you not want to carry? Because, right? Now, we've stolen his blue, we see a bot side, we give up the crab here, we basically say, look, it's a Silas, so he's slower clearing, we're faster, we have ult available and ghost, here we go. Being shilling on the side, flash is available very shortly, we're going to use the ult to get the fear, he's going the wrong direction, and Akali kills off the Silas, and we're going to swoop-de-doop the Rise. That was brilliant, by the way, let's just go back, I don't like to usually go back on this one, more so on the main channel, there we go, because look at the Rise here. 9 seconds on that flash. 9 seconds. This is timed in chat. How free is it to just time a flash and say, hey, I have the ability to kill him right now. We're just gonna R straight in here, fear him that direction. Like it's not up. He can't do anything about it. As he dies, it spawns again, and it's like, well, shit. And now the next time he's in lane, HECARIM's gonna do the same thing, run the flash again, and the process continues. Camp a lane as HECARIM, please. Just pick a lane, camp a lane, go damage, get your Ionian boots. I do recommend the tier, as I said, and just run over the game. Don't sit and lap and relax and listen to jazz. Like, I mean, again, you can. But why when you can do this? And again, things like Silas will try and do the same thing. Don't let him. Things like the Nidleys will try and pressure you out. Just kill them. And things like the Kindred, ban it. There you go. Solved your problems. And now, of course, the Akali is Gigafed, you're Gigafed, bottom lane and top lane are just non-existence, right? Like the 0-0-0-0-1-0 top lane, Cassandra top lane. We have a ward here, we have this open. We don't have Ghost, obviously, because we use the mid lane with the ultimate. And we have Black Shield plus traps here, so we're going to have to try and avoid it. We activate our E, we burn the heal for the movement speed. Get good positioning here. As you E and they save the Q, obviously they're going to trap, they're going to E back. That's exactly what they're going to do against the HECARIM. So that's the downside, right? You're seeing the downside here of you being squishy. But at the same time, we did enough. Boom, charge. Well, worth, right? If you're going to play like an assassin, what do we always say as an assassin for snowballs? If I get 2-3 kills in one rotation, and you get one back on me, fine. Worthy trade, because I'm going to use the gold way better. Now, actually, in this game, he has gone the Spear of Shojin, so I'm talking nonsense the whole time. Future Virkayu here, I actually clicked the wrong replay. This is the one where he goes Bruiser, but the lethality points still stand, and obviously you're seeing the early spike of the Warhammer, and he's going to go to the Spear of Shojin first. It's normal that you would go lethality into the Umbral Glaive. Obviously, that was something I was getting confused with my brain looking at the scoreboard. So there you go. We talked a lot about the lethality and the damage spike you have early. As you can see, it's the same. Obviously, the Serrated Dirk will do more damage, but we're going to go into the Spear of Shojin, and you're seeing how the rush is going to affect the game without the Mana Moon. So overall, play the same way regardless of the build. It will just impact how you keep going later in the game, and let's go back into it. Okay, obviously you're seeing there, if we were squishy and just had a Serrated Dirk and a Warhammer, that bottom lane, that's exactly what's going to happen. You're going to be squishy, you're going to die. But if you're playing like an assassin, it's obviously fine. In this case, we're playing like a bruiser, but at least early on, it's all good, right? Just snowballing components. I know this is a bit everywhere because I thought I was doing, a different game than I was. I just opened the wrong replay. Apparently, trying to do like 3 videos a day is quite taxing on the mind. Either way, let's have a look here. We still don't have the Mana Moon, right? We're still like regenning up in the jungle as best we can, taking the blue buff. We did burn the sums. We do have ult available now. We have pressed the E button. We're going to do the knockings of the backs, and then the Caitlin's going to reposition here. Do we want to overcommit? Yes, we do. We're going to get a double fear, keep swooping, deduping, and of course the stopwatch is burned. Silas was able to get a kill back. Ult nothingness. The Akali is super fed. She's low. She's got to be careful. We do have a karma, and we reposition. So, again, 526, 11 out of 11 KP. That's what we're looking to do. Obviously, if you're going a damage build, not just a lethality assassin build, then this is the way we want to play it. I like it. I like it a lot. Let's respawn, sir. Where are we going next? In theory, we should be looking for the Herald, but at the same time, I don't like this ignoring of Heralds and Dragons. What do you guys think? It's you know, it's fine in high elo when you know the game's never going to matter about soul and so on, but in lower elo games, you know that soul's going to matter. You know the stats matter for your team because they don't know what to do. They don't know how to play the game. They're not thinking about that. We got plant hit up on us here. See, this is a bit silly because we know that the hit this up, Caitlyn actually misses a Q, so it's fine. Caitlyn Morgana. Puts me to sleep. Puts me to sleep, absolutely. But I think this was actually a good read because even though we got so fed early, if he went to Serrated Dirk, for example, into the Emerald Glaive and all that good stuff, or the Duskblade Rush, etc., you know, you can say, well, that's great, you're ahead, but against this comp, Asante, longer fights, against Silas, longer fights, against Caitlyn Morgana, when they change CC, you're doomed. You kind of want to be able to stay in those fights, well, stay in and out of those fights because we have phase rush, right? And the atomization will definitely help us with that. See, the Spear of Shojin here, they're not give us any sort of data. I guess there's no real data to get, but it is what it is. Ult is up again. We'll gallop, we'll ult, no flashes. Oof, that damage on that Q, though. That must feel nice. I mean, we have a HECARIM one trick in our server, and he was like, not really a Spear of Shojin builder, and he built it a few times. Like, actually, this feels pretty good. This does a good amount of damage. And I mean, why wouldn't it? 65 AD, 300 HP, gives you sustain, gives you haste, gives you built-up haste, gives you movement speed, which is why we also like the Black Cleaver, right? That's a nice shredding item that we can go. Gives us some HP, some haste. They're buffing it. They're buffing Black Cleaver. Can you imagine why one would buff Black Cleaver? Insane. So, again, what we're doing here is punishing lack of cooldowns and squishiness with our full damage builds. Simple. Regardless of whether or not you prefer this or something a bit squishier, that's the philosophy. Again, ultimate up in 41 seconds. Morgana goes to the mid lane here. Akali is super fed. Ryze is still starting to do things because Ryze Gaming. We're going to reposition here. We do have Ghost available as well. Silas is kind of ganking. We're just going to do the knockings and the swishings and the killings of the Ryze, and then we'll use our phase rush to reposition. Right, Silas actually does kill the Akali. That's been snacked by the Silas who's moving up here. He knows he's here. That was a... My sympathies, dear Silas. As we all know. And now the bottom lane is obviously, the Morgana's pushing this. Our ult is just about to respawn here, so we're gonna go into this fight. There's the ultimate. We press the super button. We get that ability, haste, activation. 20 haste on the Spear Shojin is mighty juicy. We get the kill, even though the Camille did not have her, she did not have her Hextech ultimate and her ultimate up. Doesn't really matter here. You see that extra HP comes in really handy in those particular situations. So you would, yes, do more damage in those situations with an Umbral, with a Duskblade, with that kind of pure damage build, but you die. So I do prefer these kinds of damagey but survivability builds. We call it the Udyr paradox. Well, I suppose we could call it the HECARIM Udyr paradox because they're the ones that have been doing this for 2 years. 2 years of this. However, for once, the HECARIM isn't actually in a general OP giga disgusting state. He's sitting at a 47% win rate, but a lot of that, my friends, is because most people have not learned to play the phase rush damage builds properly, and they keep building suboptimal itemization. Right? All I'm doing here is addressing the different philosophies that we have. Now, Ziri Karma will do some exploding. We'll go in, and then the healers burn, and the Morgana's like, can I get you? And then Ziri says, I'm going to reposition. And Nakama's, and then the Morgana's like, well, that sucks. And then HECARIM's going to be doing his blue side. In the meantime, Akali's rotating to the bot lane. Oh my god, the Morgana is doing a very good job, but excellent roam by the Akali. Morgana's doing a good job with those Qs, I know. You wish your low elo Morgana was hitting those Qs. And of course, Silas on the top lane here, 7-3-0. So, through all of this, right, what did we say? Run over the game, accelerate it, just make sure you're in control of it. 16 out of 19 KP. But the Silas has still managed to grab himself 7 kills, Night Harvester, and a needlessly large rod. That is mighty terrifying for anybody, right? So just keep yourself strong, keep your sequencing strong. Quadrant clear, head up, nothing. Okay, go back to the mid lane. Super good. Right, we have Gus Walker finished. The Silas has 3 more to go. We have obviously 5 points in Q at this point, 4 points in W, and 2 points in the Ultimato. So we have a lot of things going for us. In this particular case, you might say, well, what about the sequencing? Don't we want to kind of go Krugs Raptors? Yes, but nothing was up. Nothing was there for us to do. You don't want to hover, right? So if there's really nothing and you just have to go to your Krugs into your Raptors, you do it. We'll loop back. HECARIM has the ability of doing that. Hey, how about an 8th kill? HECARIM has the ability of doing that more so than most junglers. Now, Ryze is going to ult because Akali's out of position. They all collapse on her. They kill her. They use the Ryze ult. They go mid lane. HECARIM's like, this is exactly my point, right? This is where we actually rushed the Morph and Morty a second because Sante making impact there while the Camille stays top lane. In this case, this is a great example. Sometimes your team will just miss position. Sometimes your team will not be in a position to make the right play. They just won't. So what you do is you just infuse your own econ, do some wards, do some counter jungling, look for an overstay or pick like right here. Here we go. She's going to use her E, but don't overcommit because Caitlyn thinks, could we ult? Yes, but we'd most likely die. And there's a dragon spawning soon. Don't really want to waste all of that. We have 1200, just under. So it's not quite, you know, a huge amount of cash money, but we're going to go into the serrated Dirk here actually, because I feel he feels like, okay, look, I need a bit more damage spike. I need a bit more damage to carry this game because the Zeri at the end of the day is doing a good job, which is 3-2-1. Kind of like that actually. But also, we need a mythic, right? So we're not going Umbral Glaive now. We need to go that serrated Dirk. Would Duskblade be a better focus point? You know, statistically, I would say it, but I think all HECARIM mains have a kind of, as I said with Lemon, he prefers a safer set. He would not go that. He would go Eclipse still, if he's not still going Divine Sundra, which most of you shouldn't do. HECARIM decides to, sorry, that was Silas taking HECARIM's ult. He went the other way. HECARIM then says, okay, I can chase you and ult you, but again, they have so much CC, so much magic damage. The Hex Drinker coming in absolutely huge. The shield and the Omnivamp from the Eclipse is going to be really useful, I think. I mean, we had a big lead. It just feels like they're swooping side to side so quickly, and the only champion that can match that is the HECARIM, and the Akali has not used her lead properly, and the Silas has gotten free fed in a lot of these close fights. You could say, well, like, shouldn't I have just gone full damage and run over the game like you were saying in the beginning when you thought it was Duskblade? Yes, but then immediately I said, look, you're going to be squishy. As soon as you gank bot lane, you're doomed. So I was like, oh, wait a second. Yeah, that would make sense to go Shojin here, and of course, he is. Interesting and dynamic. So from that, obviously, we'll just focus a little bit on the jungling here. Sante is low. He's used his all out. We can see his blades. If he goes back, he'll be tankier. Silas is shadowing this. Good jungling. The Camille now has no mana. The Silas is like, can I steal your Hextech ultimatum? Q3 does not hit. He's out of range. Q does hit from the Silas. We'll fall back to the Krugs. Very good. Herald is up. You know, Karma's rotating out of base. Akali's bot lane. No TP. That's why I said, if you can have a squishy team that doesn't have a lot of CC where you can play like the assassin, and you can end the game at 20, try and do so. It's always a better philosophy than playing for the 40-minute team fight. But sometimes, yeah, we don't have choices. So this particular case, again, do we have to give this up? As I said, Akali's a bot lane, no TP, she's here. Can our team collapse in this fight? Morgana's zoning. I mean, we could try and steal it. But, I mean, at this point, I think we can see that that was the most ridiculous Herald call in the history of time, because it obviously died. As HECARIM goes back into the fight here, we're trying, remember, we don't have Conqueror in this particular regard, so it's a little bit different in terms of your positioning. You gotta use your, okay, Hex Drinker gets popped, you gotta use your Phase Rush properly. It's a different playstyle. In and out, and same with Maokai, AP Maokai. Go in, unload, reposition, go back in with cooldowns. Obviously with Shojin, it gives you the benefit of the, she's kind of looking at this like, do I really want to go back in here, or do I just want to steal the Grump and get out? Yeah, so if you're paying attention to this and not like trying to analyze it, just watching the game and look at the clock and like, why are they doing Herald? Could they even do Herald? And as you can see, no, they could not. But most importantly, why did the HECARIM force that fight? That was a fight that showed, kind of looks like, okay, a little bit wishy-washy, but we were so late for that. And we're kind of forcing it when we know the Silas had the ultimate from the Camille. I'm not a huge fan of that particular fight, so choosing fights is important. If you are like 20-0 and you can just run over their team and have no CC, by all means, go in, kill everyone, take the Baron at 20, run it down to the Nexus, which is what the game I thought was. I'll leave a match history link as I always do. You can go look at his profile, you'll see exactly what I mean. In the meantime, we have now 1,600 cash monies. That is not enough, so we're going to have to do a little bit more. Silas shows on the top lane here. We fall to the blue to the Grump. do a little bit more sequencing, a little bit of poking there. We have the Silas moving to the mid lane, takes the Zeri ultimate. Now we have enough, so now we can go back to base. Complete our item and hope our team don't int. The Omni-Vamp plus the shield, plus the hybrid pen is going to be super good. Excuse me, not hybrid penetration, just armor penetration. There we go. We use our E, we hit the Morgana, we ult us, try and CC and kill the Caitlyn. The Kali and us, the royal us as Hecarim, are able to kill their bottom lane, which is of course the things we want to kill, even though the KD's not the best. That's the way to do it, my friends. That's why we like these builds. Now, if you were full squish again, you one-shot everybody. Same result, difference is if you get CC'd, you're doomed. So in this particular case, hey, look, I can one-shot you basically anyway. Now, but you can't one-shot me, so well, how we do it. Onto the Baron here. If they come, we just turn, right? Hecarim, phase rush. Gaming, smite is available. Just be cautious if you do use it. Know that you're not going to have it for Baron. He does use it, double kill. And now, of course, use it when you turn, if the goal is to kill everyone. When you kill everyone, then you don't need it, now we can turn on it. Should be free Baron. Really good actual back to base, get my 3-item spike. Obviously, Hecarim loves the 3-item spike. Then make that pick, and then go straight for the objective. When they show up, if you're confused, just turn. It's always better to turn. Body block any potential spells here. They're going to straight up E from this. Our ult is up again already. Look at the damage we do to the support. I mean, 300 HP, I'll take it. And again, no mana, right? So we're taking blues. We will not have that same damage proc that you get from the Mana Moon passive. We don't have the spam ability as much. Worth noting. Trades, right? Tit for tat. In this particular case, we got 3 Giga items. Obviously, normally you probably want to go it second, but the Morva Mortius here, we had to do it because of the Silas, the Rise. We have a Morgana. I think it's insane. You can't say to me that item is not good. Just getting it as soon as possible. Game sense, champion sense, which item I go, feeling it together, fusing all of that together is always good. It's difficult though. But it's, you know, when you, why, it's like, see, as I was saying, game sense, right? Why are we just, they have Baron, they're pushing up, they just took Dragon. Why are we just walking into the right side jungle? So that's bad game sense. Where the Hecarim's like, hey, normally these are my 3 items, but, you know, I better go the more of my Mortias, and you adapt. And you know how to play around them. That's what one-tricking is, that's what maining is. You get to kind of get a feel for all of those adaptabilities. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's the ult most of the Hecarims in your games do, right? Yeah, here's a 47% win rate because you guys, because some of the Hecarims do that. Oh, that was a weird TP. Didn't see the animation at all. Again, Hecarim's like, guys, I'm done. See, this is where the lack of mana does come into play a little bit, but hey, it's good. At this point, back into your jungle, Raptors, Krugs, we got some kills with 12 to 13. We can get the Black Cleaver, which we do. Now we have 2,600 HP. Obviously, we have 400 AD, just over 400 AD with that E activated there. 423, actually. So you're getting a lot of damage. You have the Gust Walker, sorry, that's a Gust Walker as well. So you can really amp up your damage with the Gust Walker through the bushes here as you go probing, looking for kills. Because now we're 4 items. 4 items. And we have some HP and ability to stick to champions. Is super good. Good haste. Good haste. Just something you'd say to a horse. Ghost activated. Hey guy, I ghosted an Eid and I don't have to use my ultimate. Look, I've been CC'd. Now I'm over the wall. I'm just gonna ult and fear them. There we go. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, I think in the beginning when I thought he was straight up going assassin, I was like, let's observe the damage. And now I'm like, look at the damage, but look at me not die at the same time. I would recommend this as a more de facto build. Again, not on the Eclipse necessarily, and of course that's going to change next week. That Spear Shojin was going to be good, Black Cleaver is going to be even better. Right? You see what I'm saying? I don't know why they're buffing Black Cleaver though, that is really an enigma to me. And they could honestly buff Hecarim a little bit, or create something that kind of focuses the builds a little bit more, but this was a great example of being everywhere early, using your fisting power early, showcasing why the Assassin build can work, showcasing why the Bruiser build works, showcasing the good itemization and good jungling and good pathing and good camping. We'll get Hecarim fed 10 out of 10 days of the week. Facts. There we go. Thank you very much for watching. Live Companions, GG guys, linked below. Coaching side, linked below. Main channel, linked below. Coaching channel, YouTube free, linked below. As always, I will see you all in the bootcamp. And to start off for Season 13, I will be hosting another bootcamp with Coach Kybert for laners and junglers and for every single role Topics on your screen now starts end of January 30th. Basically, we're going to be covering everything in this video in depth related to you, giving you some active examples, some drills, everything to make you a better League of Legends player as a whole, all through a really in-depth 2-week bootcamp from January 30th onward. And additionally, I will be raffling off a $400 coaching package to a lucky winner who subscribes in the first 100 tickets, which means a further 4 hours of coaching directly with me, all free for you after the bootcamp is finished. And overall, the bootcamp is just chocked full of absolute free coaching, free VOD reviews, Q&As. We have 10 different sessions for you from myself and Coach Kybit. We have other challenger coaches on call. Essentially, you're looking at something like 30 coaching sessions for the price of 1, all within a community hosted by Gosu Academy. So click the link in the description below, sign up, join the Discord, and I will see you all there to learn everything you need to know about Season 13 jungling and laning so that you can climb to your ranked goals and beyond.